Hello everybody and welcome to Woopercast. This is episode 4 for May the 18th, 2016. In this week's episode we're going to be having a look back at UK Nationals, which happened this weekend over in Liverpool in England. I attended myself, along with plenty of other members from Team Ireland. I actually did pretty well. I had 5 wins, 2 losses and a draw, finishing 17th overall in a pool of 192 players. I played Woopercast O'Rourke, and if you want to know more about the deck I played, I covered that in a video on my channel yesterday, and I will link it down in the description if you want to have a look at it. So basically what I'm going to spend this podcast doing is going over my experience of the tournament. I got a few kind of funny things that happened, so I can't wait to tell those. And basically just going over the tournament in general, the decks that won, the decks that did well, what saw play, what didn't, and yeah. First thing I want to point out, by the way, is I am going to start uploading these to SoundCloud as well, because I know a lot of people prefer to listen to podcasts on there, myself included, actually. So I am going to be setting up a SoundCloud page. I'm going to be uploading every episode, including all the previous ones too. So if you prefer to listen to your podcasts on that format, go ahead and click the link in the description. Alright, but let's get started with our tournament report. So, like I said, I played Woopercast O'Rourke, and if you want to know more about that, links in the description. Going into the tournament, I built the deck because I thought it had good matchups across the board. I wanted something that no matter what I played against, I had some kind of answer for. And what the day proved to me was that I picked the right deck to do exactly that. So the funny story is that we actually got into the venue, I think it was like half 8 or something when we showed up at the venue. And I had Night March built in one hand, and it was a really cool Night March list, actually. It had a 1/1 Ziv Strike line to get around Promo Jirachis and Jolteons. And I really, really wanted to play it. I knew I'd have a fun day if I did. But on the other hand, I had my Woopercast O'Rourke deck built, and I could not decide for the life of me. And I'm looking at like my friend's Rory. He's been playing Frogs for so long. He had no doubt in his mind he was going to be playing Frogs. Carl's playing Woopercast Vileplume. No doubt there either. And I'm there literally like, I have no idea which one of these decks to bring. So I actually flipped a coin on the day, and the coin told me to play Woopercast O'Rourke. So that's what I went with, and it proved to be very, very correct. I guess I'll just get straight into the rounds that I played. So round 1, I'm up against Mega Manectric Jolteon. I cannot remember this player's name because I only started taking notes at around like round 5 or something, and I can't remember back this far. And I'm ashamed to say that because he was a lovely guy, and if you are listening, please drop your name in the comments and I'll give you a shout out next video. But he was playing Mega Manectric Jolteon, and that is a very favourable matchup for me. O'Rourke really puts in the work against Mega Manectric, and by the time they've cleared your O'Rourkes, your Woopercast should be doing enough damage to take care of the Mega Manectric in one hit. So I felt very confident. Well, actually, he flipped over the Manectric, and I was kind of nervous because I didn't want to see Manectric Bats. I was like, please tell me nobody's playing Manectric Bats. And then he attached the Spirit Link to it, and I was like, oh, thank God. So that was a relief. Game 1, I won exactly as I should be winning it. Game 2, I actually played quite sloppily. I made some misplays. I left a Shaman on my board for way too long, but eventually I got around to AZing it up. And basically, he needed to take 2 more prizes, but time had been called, and it was the last turn. And I had 2 non-EXs in play, so he was actually unable to take his last 2 prizes. The game was called a draw, and I won the entire set. So even though I played badly, I think I got away with it a little bit, unfortunately, for him. And so I was just very nervous going into the first game. I always am nervous at the first game of the tournament. It's always the games after that where I start to relax, start to feel more comfortable. So got game 1 out of the way, got my win out of the way. I was feeling fine. I'll take that. Round 2, I am against Connor Bird, and he is playing Trevenant Break. Trevenant it's a matchup I can definitely win, but the issue with it is that Trevenant works on coin flips, and if they win the first coin flip, well, they can do very well anyway. And that's exactly what Connor did. He won the first coin flip, he goes first in the game, and he does exactly what Trevenant's meant to do. I couldn't play any items. I clawed back a few prizes here and there, but it was still, you're at a disadvantage right from the start, and that was not nice. And he does exactly what he's supposed to do with Trevenant. Game 2, I go first. I get Baby Veltals down, turn 1, all across the board. And this is exactly what I need in this matchup, because the attack I use the most is Darkness Blade. It does 100 damage for 2 dark and a colorless. So I spent the entire game just slapping down baby Yveltals, powering them up with darkness energy, and I knew as soon as I can get off a darkness blade, I can knock these things out in one hit. And that was perfectly fine. I got the strategy working. The cool thing about this matchup is baby Yveltal has 130 HP, so Trevenant's 3-shotting it if it's using Tree Slam. It takes a while for them to kill them. It gives me a lot of time to build up the energy I need. And I also had AZ to heal ones off the bench if he damaged those with Tree Slam, or what's the first attack? The one that does 30 to everything. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I think it went exactly as I wanted it to go, and that was fine. And then game 3, flips over Lone Phantom, plays Trainer's Mail, fails it, and passes. And I've got Yveltal and a Darkness Energy, and I donk for game. It's a shame it had to end like that, but frankly, I'll take the win. I did not want to see him setting up another Trevenant and locking my items from the get-go. So it's kind of a bad win, I guess, but I'll take it. It's fine by me. Really nice guy as well. He showed me his entire list after the game. We were discussing it, and so that was super nice of him. So I'm 2-0 now. Round 3, I'm against Catherine Barton. Very calculated player, I have to say this. She was taking notes and stuff like that throughout the game. Playing Night March, a deck where you need to be calculated to play it. She looked very strong just immediately going into it. But funny thing happened, right? So round 1, I flip over, she's going first, and I flip over Promo Jirachi. And she flips over Pumpkaboo. So immediately, I know she's playing Night March. And she looks at my board and says, out loud, "Oh, Greninja!" And then proceeds to bench a bunch of Shamans. And now, that is not how you play against Vespiquen's O'Rourke. Against Greninja, that's fine. You can bench a bunch of Shamans early game. There's no issue with doing that. But against Vespiquen's O'Rourke, that's a bad idea. She dug quite a lot on the first turn, expecting to see me play Greninja. But of course I wasn't. And actually she ended up getting rid of 3 of her Puzzle of Time turn 1. So that, in my head now, I know she's left with just 4 energy total. And I immediately switched my strategy to, okay, I'm just going to use Promo Jirachi's and Zerosig to clear her board of energy, and then I just win. And that's exactly what happened. It worked fine for me. It was just funny, though, that I feel bad for her that she was so convinced that I was playing Greninja. And if I was playing Greninja, I think she did the right thing. I think maybe she did dig a little too much on her part, if I can say that. I don't think she necessarily needed to play all the puzzles. She did have to Sycamore one away, which hurt a ton and basically cost her the game. But anyway, we go into game 2. And she's going first again. Flips over Pumpkaboo. That's fine. She has a fine turn. I have the worst hand I had all game. All tournament, I mean. I have Lone Zorua in the active. And I have a Lizond and a Dark Energy. And I say, right, screw it. I'm going to try this. I Lizond up a Shaman. I slap on the Dark. And I Moonless Madness. And I know that she now needs a Dimension Valley, a double colorless energy, and a Floatstone. And she's digging, and she gets the Dimension Valley, she gets the double colorless energy, but she whiffs the Floatstone. And I top deck Sycamore, and now I'm going. And the issue for her, I think, in that game was that because she needed to dig for the Floatstone, she actually burned through a good few of her resources in doing that. And it actually... Again, similar to the last game, she discarded a good few time puzzles, and now I know, okay, I'm just going to have to discard all the energy, and then I win. So that's how those 2 games went. It was actually just very easy for me. I think she burned quite a few of her resources and made my job a little easier, but in a way she did have to do that, so unfortunate for her. But it was a fairly easy win all the same. I'm 3-0 now. I'm starting to get really excited because I'm thinking, you know what, I'm on a good roll here. Round 4, I'm against Brian Peach. Brian is playing Waylord, and I did not know this initially. His opening hand had Cassius and Enhanced Hammer in it because he mulliganed, and then he flipped over a Bunnelby. And I thought, it's either Waylord or it's Totina, and I wasn't quite sure which. So I actually did bench a Promo Jirachi, and then he drops a Waylord, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have benched the Jirachi. But anyway, Waylord is a very, very good matchup, as long as you don't play stupid. And game 1, I didn't play stupid, I just did what I'm supposed to do. Killed the Waylords, killed some Major Slashes, and that was it. Game 2, I played terribly. Because I saw that he was using double colorless energy. which immediately made me think, okay, this guy's playing Lugia over Lucario. And by thinking that he's playing Lugia, it means that I can't just load up one Vespiquen with a ton of energy. It means I kind of need to spread it out between two. Because if I load up a Vespiquen with a ton of energy, he's just going to come in with the Lugia and one-shot it. But being me and just sort of being in the moment, getting really excited that I'm playing one of my best matchups, I just get a Gwen and I load it up with energy. I couldn't actually get out of combi without digging a bit more, and I didn't want to dig, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to slap all my energy on a Vespiquen. I think I got like 3 double colorless and 3 dark on it in total. It was a really stacked Gwen, but thankfully he was just unable to hit the double colorless, mostly thanks to Wailord's just inherently bad draw power. So I did get lucky in that sense, but I was able to clutch it out with my extremely stacked Vespiquen and just take the win that way. So he was playing a really cool list actually, because he had Robo Subs in it too, which made him it was a lot easier for him to use things like Lugia and Durant, because he didn't need to play the AZ at the start of a turn. He could just throw up a Robo Sub, and I did actually have to kill quite a few Robo Subs too. So yeah, fair play to him. He said he already had his points for Worlds and he was playing Wailord for fun, which means he's literally the only person in the world who finds Wailord fun to play. But yeah, fair play to him. Round 5. So I'm 4-0 now. I'm feeling really, really good about myself. Round 5, I'm against Scott Burgess, and we're on stream for this one. And this was actually my first time being on stream, especially an official one from Pokemon themselves. To anyone who has never been on one of the official Pokemon streams, you might think it's kind of a bit nervous, or you might get it kind of like the nerves might get to you because of the pressure, because people are watching. But actually it didn't. The booths that they put you in are really isolated. The headphones, they give you headphones to talk to your opponent. You know, it feels like you're completely away from all of the other people playing their matches. It's just really focused on just you and your opponent. So it was a really good experience. You have to sign a contract too. It was all very professional and stuff. So that was a nice experience to get on the day. Anyway, I'm playing Scott Burgess. Very popular player over in the UK, very well known. He's been playing for about 6 years now. This was my first time facing him. And first of all, before I even talk about the match, I have a ton of respect for this guy after this game. He handed me my ass, but he was so professional, completely top guy, really friendly, and I would gladly play him again. So anyway, he was playing YZG. It's probably my worst matchup, and he does exactly what he's supposed to do with it. He was playing the time puzzle variant, which made things a lot more difficult, because game 1 I actually managed to discard all of his double colorless by like turn 3 or something. He had to discard one himself with an Ultra Ball, and I just had Xerasic in my opening hand, so I was able just to really slow him down by that, but it didn't even matter in the end because he had the time puzzles. And he ends up taking a quick game 1. I tried to end up actually decking him out by just Shame and Sky Return looping a lot. It almost worked. Almost. But eventually he did get his Veltal powered up. Game 2, he proved to me the reason why I struggle with YZG, and that's because of actually Baby Veltal. If you put a Muscle Band on it, you throw down a Reverse Valley, Baby Veltal's now hitting 60 damage, which is stupid. It's killing Combies in one hit, it's killing Zaruas in one hit, and that's kind of the foundation of my deck. He's just, every time I drop a Combi, he's bringing it up into the active, he's taking care of it. It was very, very difficult, and made me really want to play Bridget, just so I could get a bunch down at once. But yeah, he 2-0'd me. Lovely guy. And yeah, I didn't even feel bad about the loss, to be honest. I was just like, yep, I got outplayed completely. So I'm 4-1 now. Round 6, and a lot of people dropped this round, so we had a good long, I think it was 30-minute break before this round. Of us just sitting across from our opponent, just waiting for it to start. So I think a lot of us were just feeling kind of nervous at that. Anyway, I'm against Michael Reeditor. He's playing straight Seismitoad with like 4 copies of red card, and the red card is very annoying, actually. I didn't expect to see red card on the day. I expected just straight Toads with just regular disruption. But no, he went the extra step and put in the red cards. So anyway, other than that though, I should have a really good matchup against Toad, obviously, because I hit it for weakness. And yeah, actually game 1 I went Oblivion Wing. He had Lone Toad in the active, and I went Oblivion Wing, stand-in grenade hammer. I used foul play to copy Seismitoad's second attack. But we were so spaced out that I actually took me a good 30 seconds to add 60 and 130 in my head and just sort of like, does that make 190? Do I knock this out? And I actually asked him, like, here, is this a knockout if I do this? And even he has to look at the cards and go, like, no, yeah, that is a knockout. It was like, we were just so tired at that point that I couldn't even do math properly in my head. But anyway, so I take that game. Game 2, he does Toad stuff. Straight Toad isn't the easiest matchup. You might think it's super, super easy for Best Friend to win because of the weakness thing, but if you get rid of even one DCE, you can lose the game. And basically, you gotta know that every time you drop an energy, it's gonna be gone the next turn, because that's how Toad works. And that makes it very difficult because you need to attach 4 DCE. Well, you only need to attach 3 to win the game. But if you even get rid of 1, that can actually cost you a whole lot and set you really far back. And in my opening hand, I had Sycamore and 3 DCE. So I had a Combi on the bench, and I just kept attaching it, hoping he would miss a hammer or something. But of course he didn't. He was completely on point with all of that, and he just stalled me out of it. But I actually let the game go until he'd taken all of his prizes, because we had so much time after a really quick game 1. Then game 3. Well, I started with 2 combis, played Sycamore, and I went Battle Compressor, Battle Compressor, Battle Compressor, and that game went exactly as you would think it goes. I went off. I didn't draw bad at all for it, and it was exactly as I intended my Straight Toad matchup to go. So that was a win for me in the end. I'm now 5 wins, 1 loss, and I am next. If I win one more game, I can ID the next one, and I'm in top cut, and I'm really excited about this. So round 7, I'm against Nilo Dieguez. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. Nilo is playing Frogs, and I know my Frogs matchup is pretty good. It's basically, I know I can't lose it, so I can either take a win, or I will take a draw. I know there's like no loss. The issue with the Frogs matchup is they will get like one turn where they have like maybe 2 breaks up, and they can use that one turn to go completely nuts and clear my board entirely of energy, and it becomes very, very difficult to win after that point. And so I need to prevent them from doing that. I need to stop them getting the breaks up in the first place in order to get to that stage. And game 1 is exactly what happens. I go first, which is really big in the Frogs matchup, and I just do exactly what I'm supposed to do. I Lazond up every break. I don't care about the promo Jirachis. I just keep attaching anyway. And I just clear his board of Greninjas, and I win that way. It's fine. Game 2. He goes first. And going second against Frogs is a little difficult because you take 1 less knockout. So if you go first, they go Froakie. If you go Combi, they go Froakie. Then I go Quen and kill a Froakie. But if they go first, they go Froakie. Then I go Combi. Then they go Frogadier, water duplicates. Then I go Quen and take a kill. But now there's 3 Frogadier on their bench. So you're technically taking 1 fewer prize in the early game. And it's actually an argument for putting Forest of Giant Plants or a Wally or something in the deck. But, so anyway, he's going first. This thing happens. And the turn where... And he does end up clearing my board of energy, and it looks like he's going to win, but time gets called. And this right here is... This was my favorite game that I played all day, because I think I played it perfectly. Thanks to Rory, who is a very, very good Frogs player. He got some terrible matchups on the day. But I knew this matchup really well. And I know this guy has 2 turns with which to take, I think, 2 remaining prizes. So I make the greatest play I may have ever made. I Lazond up promo Jirachi, and I use Zoroark's foul play to copy Jirachi's second attack, Dream Dance. This puts both active Pokemon to sleep. So my Zoroark is now asleep and his Jirachi is now asleep. So he's got 2 more turns left of the game. We go into his turn, flips tails. Jirachi is still asleep. His Greninja uses regular Water Shuriken, the XY Greninja, and he uses that to knock out my Zoroark break. That's fine. So, pass back to my turn. He's got 1 prize left. Flips tails. Jirachi is still asleep. I promote whatever. It doesn't even matter what I promote at this point. All I need to do is have him flip tails going into his turn, because then his Jirachi will be stuck active, and he can't use Giant Water Shuriken to retreat it. To kill my Pokemon. And if he flips tails, I get the win, I ID my next game, and I'm in top 8. And he flips heads. And he wakes up. And he retreats. And he kills my Unknown or something. And he wins the game. And it was kind of heartbreaking in a sense that I didn't make top cut by Dream Dancing. That would be such a great story. But unfortunately, one of his coin flips had to be heads. And fair play to Nilo. He was a fantastic player. I think he missed top 16 as well, just about. But I thoroughly enjoyed playing him, and really great player. So anyway, I'm 5-1-1 now. I'm on the winning in, have to win this game. I'm against Ollie Barnett. He's playing Straits O'Rourke, and I hate playing against Straits O'Rourke. I knew exactly how this would go before we even sat down. Yeah, we're on stream for this one too. We're on the backup stream. And yeah, this is exactly how Straits O'Rourke goes when I play against it with this deck. I tried to deck him out, same like I did to Scott. It kind of worked for a bit. Mostly it just stalled for time, to be honest. With Shaman Sky Return looping, because you can do Sky Return looping fairly well, especially when they don't run a Veltal EX, because he had to power up like a Darkness Blade in order to kill my Veltal. And I got rid of most of them before he got the opportunity, but unfortunately it just didn't work in the end. And then game 2, time's called. I actually only have one prize left to take, and he does the same thing I did in round 1, where he's got 2 non-EXs on the field, and it doesn't matter. Even if I take one knockout, I can't take the other one. And I missed it, and he wins the set. And he moves on to top 8. I move down to 17th. But yeah, fair play to Ollie. He played that perfectly. And I think he made top 4 overall as well, so GG to him. My final record for the day was 5-2-1. Unfortunately, I missed 2 winning ins, which kind of sucks. But, I learned an awful lot on the day. I think I played extremely well. And I think my deck choice on the day and the card, the overall, the way I built it was absolutely perfect for the tournament. I just needed to kind of maybe have my head in a better place and I would have gotten top 8 or something. I'm not sure. But you live and learn. I definitely became a much better player because of the day, and I think it was a great experience overall. But while I missed out on top 8 myself, the decks that did make top 8 are as follows. 2 Night March lists, both with a 1-1 Vespiquen line. Something I played around with an awful lot. I liked it, but Zebstrika was more fun, and really that's the most important thing. 2 Trevenants made it in. One with weakness policy in it, the other one with the one with weakness policy had Nervous Sea Trevenant as well. The one that makes your opponent's basics have an extra colorless energy in their attack costs, and actually did help him out against Night March in top 8, or was it in top 8, yeah. So we got to see that one in action on stream, which was really nice. Greninja made it in there, no one was surprised to see that. YZG, Scott Burgess, his list again, he made it all the way to the finals. Ollie Barnett's Straits O'Rourke list. And finally, Tamao Cameron's Vespiquen Violet Plume list, which took home the whole thing. Very interesting Vespiquen Violet Plume list, running things like Misty and Judge, cards we barely ever see. No Revitalizer either, which a lot of Vespiquen Violet Plume players picked up on after that card came out. I think the reason he was running Misty was because he didn't want to deck himself out. It means you can grab your resources without having to play Sycamore and draw a ton of cards. It means you're less likely to deck out that way. So, why did Vespiquen Violet Plume win on the day? I think that has to do with the fact that it really has no auto-loss matchups. Like I said, my deck was built around trying to make a deck that could beat anything. But Vespiquen Violet Plume's already a deck that does that, and not just if it wins the coin flip. Sure, that's a massive help and a huge advantage for it. But it also means that, item lock and damage like that is just so strong. And given that Tamao made a list that doesn't deck out half as much as a regular list, that's just not going to happen very often. Also, the Judge can really put people in awful positions too. Really, I think it's no surprise that Vespiquen Violet Plume took home the whole thing. I think a lot of people just missed a few tricks that Tamao didn't. Quick shout-outs, by the way, to Kieran, Rory, Alan, Jane, and Carl. Other Irish GCG players that we had over there on the day. Kieran and Rory both did very well. Kieran and Alan actually both played the same deck that I did. Quick shout out to Rory as well, because he is one hell of a Frogs player. And round 2, I think it was like round 3 or something, he played against Mega Septile. And obviously he lost that. And then round 4, he played against another Mega Septile. And from that point on, his day was just done, unfortunately. Which is a real shame. Also, shout out to the VGC players who came over. We're talking Kelly, Jono, Mike, Connor, all those guys. Especially to Kelly and Jono, who've now basically got their points for Worlds as well, which is phenomenal. So top job to those guys. So anyway, I think that's actually going to do it for the podcast this week. We've had a pretty short one. I just wanted to get something quick out to recap the weekend that we had. See, next week, I actually don't know what I'm going to be doing for the podcast. It'll be a surprise even to me. I'll think of something, though. So let's consider it a surprise. Also, when I start expanding the channel and doing a few more things other than just the podcast, like with the deck analysis that went up yesterday, I might try a few more things like that. Maybe I'll do some deck analysis and some fun stuff. We've been all very serious about really competitive play. I want to try and make things like Mandibuzz or Wormadam work, so maybe I'll be doing something stupid like that. But yeah, thank you for watching Woopercast this week. We'll be back every Wednesday at 5 p.m. British Standard Time. We're going to be here. We're going to be on SoundCloud as well. I will link all that stuff in the description. And yeah, I've been your host, Joe Yates. Thanks very much for watching.